Welcome back to Speaking History and the fifth episode of our captivating series, The Historic Evil Women. Today we dive into the scandalous and decadent life of Cora Pearl, a woman whose name became synonymous with excess and controversy in 19th century France. Known for her audacious charm, luxurious lifestyle, and ruthless manipulations, Cora was a courtesan who lived life on her terms, often at the expense of those who adored her. Join us as we unravel the story of this enigmatic figure, from her rise to infamy to her tragic downfall. The Unforgettable Bet. Today, I will present to you such a delectable piece of meat that your mouths will water, but you won't be able to eat it. The knife and fork will lie right before you on the table, yet cutting and chewing it will be impossible for you. Amidst casual conversation, the stunningly beautiful girl made this shocking claim, leaving her wealthy guests astonished. They exclaimed in disbelief, "That's impossible! We've never seen meat that can't be cut or eaten. You're exaggerating." "What if I show you such meat?" she asked, fixing her captivating gaze on the audience. "Place your bets. What will you give me?" "I'll give 5,000 francs," said one guest. She retorted scornfully, "Is that all you can offer for such a rare piece of meat?" "Just 5,000 francs?" Offended, the man responded, "Fine, I'll give 10,000. But if you fail to prove your claim?" "If I lose, I'll do whatever everyone here decides," she replied. The matter was settled, and all the guests started placing their own bets, competing to outbid one another. Smiling triumphantly, the enchanting lady with her radiant red lips went into the grand, luxurious kitchen. Her dozens of guests, overwhelmed with curiosity and anticipation, whispered among themselves, convinced that their host would lose today. They speculated that she would have to fulfill her promises to please them all. Soon, their impatience and suspense came to an end. Her 4 servants entered the dining room carrying a large platter covered with an elegant cloth. Before the captivated audience, the cloth was removed, and those who had placed bets were left breathless. On the platter lay the hostess herself, completely unclothed, in a provocative and alluring pose. A few sensitive areas were partially covered with salad, but not entirely. The sight left everyone stunned. Smiling, she said, "Is there anyone here who can cut or eat this delicious dish of meat?" Everyone, trying to control their racing hearts, began reaching into their pockets to pay their wagered amounts. They had all lost. Cora Pearl had won a hefty sum. Eliza Crouch's early life. Eliza Emma Crouch was born in 1835 in England, the daughter of Frederick Crouch, a music teacher. After Frederick left his family and moved to America, 12-year-old Eliza was sent to a convent school in Boulogne for her education. During this 8-year period, she also learned a bit of French. In 1854, she returned to London at her mother's request and began living with her grandmother. It became her routine to meet her mother every Sunday and regularly attend Holy Communion. A maid would accompany her and wait outside the church, taking her back home after her prayers and worship. Life was progressing this way until an extraordinary event occurred. A life-altering incident. On one such day, Eliza exited the church as usual but didn't find the maid waiting for her. Deciding to walk home alone, she was soon approached by a man who, with flattering words, pleaded for a few moments of her company. The 19-year-old Eliza, unwilling to disappoint him, allowed him to lead her to a nearby tavern. She didn't intend to take things further, but the unknown predator used charm and persuasion to manipulate her, sweetly coaxing her with words like, "Let me taste those tender lips. They're no less intoxicating than wine." The intoxication of alcohol and the allure of youthful desire soon clouded Eliza's senses. Her companion, now holding her close, took her to a hotel. When the euphoria of the wine and the waves of passion subsided, Eliza found herself lying naked on a bed. Beside her was a 5-pound note, payment for her untouched innocence. This moment transformed her into a new person. She mentally and emotionally distanced herself from her grandmother's home forever, took the 5-pound note, and rented a room. Eliza was no longer the pious girl who worshipped in church. She had become a morally compromised woman who hunted men. With her stunning features, soft and delicate figure, fiery red hair, and irresistible charm, she could captivate even the most devout men. As for worldly men, they were ready to lay everything at her feet with just a glance. The rise of Cora Pearl. She soon caught the eye of a French bar and theater owner, Robert, and became his mistress, eventually moving to France. However, within days, she left Robert heartbroken and embarked alone on a quest for fame and fortune. The first step in her transformation was changing her name. No longer Eliza Emma Crouch, she adopted the name Cora Pearl. Along with her name, her character, personality, and mindset also changed. She was no longer the convent schoolgirl or the teenager attending Holy Communion, but Paris's most infamous courtesan. Cora Pearl became synonymous with ruthlessness, selfishness, and a shocking disregard for morals in her pursuit of fame, wealth, and sensual pleasures. Her frequent visits to Paris's notorious hotels, dance halls, and taverns won her countless admirers. She teased, provoked, and exploited them, making them compete and fight for her attention while reaping financial benefits. Cora's lavish lifestyle and ruthlessness. As she drained the pockets of middle and lower-class men, she eventually stabilized herself financially and decided to elevate her allure. Investing in expensive clothing, jewelry, and a lavish residence, she soon dazzled Paris's wealthy elites and aristocrats. Her seductive curves and provocative charm became her weapons, and she conquered men who indulged in debauchery. Now she only entertained the richest and most powerful, ignoring everyone else. Cora Pearl couldn't tolerate rivals. Once, she captivated an Armenian prince with her youthful beauty. However, when another courtesan interfered, Cora resorted to violence. The two women clawed at each other like wildcats, leaving their faces bloodied. Both had to take several weeks to recover and restore the softness and radiance of their cheeks. By the time their beauty returned, the prince had disappeared. Within a few years, Cora Pearl, with her sensuous figure and daring demeanor, had become the owner of a heavy gold necklace, adorned with 12 lockets, each reminding her of her wealthy, influential lovers. When she wore the necklace, and the lockets brushed against her chest, it brought her immense pleasure. Notably, each locket bore the insignia and military honors of prominent old French families. Beyond its monetary value, the necklace symbolized the exceptional backgrounds of Cora's admirers. By 1860, she was the darling of Paris's elite libertines. Alongside her youthful charm, she amassed great wealth. She now owned 3 lavish residences, a stable of 7 horses, and employed numerous servants. Her collection of jewelry was worth millions of francs, all thanks to the generosity of her admirers. Every conquest she made was a resounding success. One time, she filled a glass bathtub with expensive liquors, bathed in it while completely nude, and then distributed the nectar of life to her guests. Those who drank it were enraptured, declaring it a blend of intoxicating pleasures. Such brazenness and uninhibited behavior became the key to her success. On another occasion, a wealthy admirer sent her a box of fruits, which, upon opening, revealed that each fruit was wrapped in a 1,000-franc note. Another admirer gifted her a silver horse so heavy it required 2 of her servants to lift it, its interior packed with gold and jewels. Speaking of gold, even her special bathtub had golden inlays. The Golden Era. By 1862, thanks to her powerful lovers, Cora Pearl had gained access to France's highest social circles. By 1865, not only had she accumulated enormous wealth through their generosity, but she had also become the mistress of Prince Napoleon. This marked the peak of her career. The prince lavished her with gifts, including a gold-filled carriage, the keys to his private palace, and a luxurious home in Paris's most expensive district, decorated at a cost of 2 million francs. He even sent her a shipment of wine worth 70,000 francs, which she managed to consume within months. However, Cora Pearl didn't see the prince's affections as binding her exclusively to him. She continued her torrid affairs with other affluent and generous nobles and aristocrats. At 30, she was akin to a flower in full bloom, offering satisfaction to every admirer drawn to her. Now she was no ordinary courtesan, but an elite one, beyond the reach of most. Yet those who could afford her, whether 2 or 10, found her price ever increasing, thanks to her adeptness at self-promotion. On January 26, 1867, Paris was abuzz with scandal when she appeared on stage in a play portraying Cupid, the god of love. Adorned in shoes encrusted with diamonds, she was almost entirely nude. She frequently spent exorbitant amounts on out-of-season flowers, which she would then crush beneath her feet with playful abandon. Serving rare fruits from exotic greenhouses to her guests, she used their wealth to impress and dominate them. Cora introduced modern makeup techniques to France and set trends in hairstyling and beautification. She loved experimenting with new colors for her hair, and her ever-changing locks became a topic of fascination throughout Paris. Once, to match her outfit, she even dyed her dog blue, an anecdote that quickly became legendary. The downfall begins. However, Cora Pearl's era of grandeur and royal lifestyle began to decline after 1870. By July of that year, circumstances rapidly changed. Chaos reigned, the king was assassinated, and Prince Napoleon was forced into exile. Cora's wealthy lovers, who had showered her with extravagant gifts and paid her bills, began to disappear from the scene. Public outrage and isolation. During this period, she became involved with a man who claimed to be deeply in love with her. This was the handsome young Alexandre Duval, the son of a wealthy Parisian hotel owner. 10 years her junior, Duval was utterly smitten with Cora and even wished to marry her. Despite being overlooked in the crowd of her admirers, he now came into the spotlight. Duval had once written to Cora, "If you ask, I will gladly give my life for you." Her selfish response was simply, "No need. I prefer you alive so you can keep paying my bills." In this new reality, the luxury-loving courtesan allowed Duval into her life and proceeded to exploit him. He sacrificed his wealth, jewelry, cash, gifts, and even valuable horses, amounting to nearly 1 million francs. When his fortune was depleted, Cora began to ignore him, and one day she outright refused to even speak to him. Heartbroken and humiliated by this cruel treatment, Duval returned home, took a gun, and shot himself. Though he survived, Cora showed no compassion for him. The scandal did not stay hidden. Parisians were enraged, and Cora became a subject of public disdain. Her remaining admirers took the incident as a cautionary tale and distanced themselves. Ordinary people also began to view her with contempt. Facing this growing resentment, Cora decided to travel. She moved to London, where she continued to sell her companionship to wealthy men for large sums. However, she found that London lacked the same kind of extravagant lovers as France: poverty and death. Eventually, realizing that the Duval incident might have been forgotten, Cora returned to France in 1873. To her dismay, she was met with continued indifference from former admirers and worsening financial struggles. Over the next decade, she squandered what little she had left and sank into poverty. By 1884, desperate to make ends meet, she attempted to sell her memoirs. However, the scandalous tales of her sexual exploits and the humiliation of aristocrats received little attention and generated minimal income. During this time, Cora was diagnosed with colon cancer, which steadily pushed her closer to death. The woman who once played with the life and fortune of a man like Duval now found herself in dire financial straits. According to accounts, she sold her body for the lowest prices, sometimes serving clients who could afford only a few francs. Cora Pearl's tragic downfall culminated on July 8, 1886, when she died in utter poverty, akin to a beggar. It is said that during her funeral, a well-dressed stranger unexpectedly paid for her burial expenses, allowing for a modest but dignified ceremony. One chronicler speculated that Duval himself might have been the last man to spend money on Cora Pearl. And so ends the tale of Cora Pearl, a woman who captivated high society with her beauty and audacity, yet whose life serves as a cautionary story of greed and indulgence. If you enjoyed this episode of the Historic Evil Women, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to Speaking History for more intriguing stories from the past. Let us know your thoughts about Cora's life in the comments below. We love hearing from you.